You've probably heard the Elon Musk story told as this epic tale of a visionary who just couldn't lose. But when you really dig in, the reality is way, way more complicated. So today, we're going to explore that other story, the one that's all about staggering risk, constant failure, and an almost unbelievable cost, both personally and professionally.
All right, so let's get right to the heart of it with the one question that frames this entire journey. What does it actually cost to try and change the world? And we're not just talking about money or long hours. We're talking about the psychological toll, the personal sacrifices, and all the damage left in the wake of that kind of relentless ambition. Okay, so to really get what makes him tick, you gotta go way back to the beginning. This first part is all about how his early years as a total outsider created not just a drive to win, but this deep, burning need to be in absolute control. So check out this timeline. It really lays out a life of constant struggle. It kicks off in South Africa, where he was bullied so badly that he just escaped into books and coding. Then, he bolts to Canada to dodge the military, only to end up broke and doing manual labor. And his first companies? Same deal. With Zip2, he gets a big financial win, but the investors push him aside. And then the big one, PayPal. He gets ousted as CEO while he's on his honeymoon. Can you imagine? Every single win came with this brutal lesson about losing power.
And this is where you really see the patterns start to lock in. On one side, you have these huge financial wins. He becomes a multimillionaire, right? But on the other, a really deep emotional loss. Again and again, he's shown the door, losing control of the very things he created. And that experience, it would go on to shape basically every big move he made from then on.
All right, so all of that leads us to the absolute crucible of his life, 2008. This is where we're going to see how his two big, crazy bets, SpaceX and Tesla, were pushed right to the edge of total oblivion at the exact same time.
Now you have to understand just how insane this was at the time. He wasn't just launching a couple of startups. He was jumping headfirst into industries that were basically graveyards for new companies. I mean, space and electric cars. Almost everyone in those fields thought he was just another rich guy with a hobby. They were just waiting to see fail.
And for a while there, it looked like the experts were going to be right. The first SpaceX rocket, boom, exploded. The second one, kaboom. And the third, same thing. 3 in a row, just gone. And with every single fireball, millions of dollars just vanished. And that line between being a bold visionary and just being delusional got thinner and thinner.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, as if 3 exploding rockets weren't enough, the entire global financial system just implodes. The 2008 crash hit, and all the investment money just dried up overnight. Whatever tiny sliver of hope his companies had, it was gone.
And look, this wasn't just some business problem on a spreadsheet. This was personal. He was broke. We're talking borrowing money from friends just to pay rent. He was completely drained, physically and emotionally, and by all accounts, he was getting ready to watch both Tesla and SpaceX die.
But somehow, he didn't fail. So this next part is all about that incredible turnaround. But, and this is a big but, this wasn't some fairy tale ending. This victory was really the start of a whole new chapter, with a whole new set of costs and consequences.
Okay, so picture this. They've got just enough cash for one last shot. SpaceX launches its 4th rocket, and this time it works. It actually reaches orbit. A few days later, NASA gives them a lifeline, a contract that literally saves the company from going bankrupt. Survival wasn't a party, though. It was just permission to keep fighting.
And that fight? It led to this unbelievable string of achievements that people literally said were impossible. SpaceX didn't just survive, it totally changed the game with reusable rockets. Tesla didn't just make a cool electric car, it forced the entire global auto industry to pivot. And then you've got projects like Starlink, which are now reshaping everything from internet access to geopolitics.
But here's the other side of that coin. For every huge public win, there was a massive private cost. The insane pressure and the all-consuming nature of the work led to failed marriages, broken relationships, and this growing sense of being totally isolated. Success, it turned out, was pretty lonely.
And, as his power and fame exploded, so did the controversies. It's almost like they grew together. You've got the whole funding-secured tweet, which got him in huge trouble with the SEC. There was widespread criticism of his intense, high-pressure workplace culture. And of course, the absolute chaotic and wild takeover of Twitter, turning it into X, just brought on a whole new level of drama and debate.
So, where does all this leave us? Well, that brings us to the final and maybe the most complicated part, his legacy.
Because as you can see, this isn't a story with a neat little bow on top. It's messy, it's conflicted, and it's far from settled.
And this is really the core of it, right? You've got these two totally opposite views. On one side, his supporters see a visionary who's pushing humanity forward, redefining what's even possible. They see progress. On the other side, critics see reckless chaos, collateral damage, and an unacceptable human cost for all that progress. That line between genius and harm is blurry, to say the least.
Look, if there's one thing to really get from all this, it's that his story is tangled up in these three things. You've got risk, damage, and progress, and they're inseparable. You just can't get the mind-blowing progress without acknowledging the incredible risk and the real damage that came with it.
And so that leaves us with the big question, the one that really matters. It's not about deciding if the cars and the rockets were worth it. It's about looking at the whole messy picture and asking, what did it all cost? And is that a price we think is worth paying?